Alright, so we're going to put together our desk rendering. So I've opened up After Effects, and the process is basically we render stuff out of Maya, we bring it in After Effects and just put it into an actual like QuickTime movie that people can watch. You can upload it to YouTube, whatever. So if you've never used After Effects before, this is the basic layout that you get. If anything ever changes, you can always go to Window Workspace and just go back to like the standard mode, or you can go to Window Workspace. Last one I was in was Animation, which basically is the same thing except there's more presets and some of the other stuff is taken away. But essentially, this is where we need to be. Three main things: project, timeline, composition. We're going to double click in the project area, and I'm going to locate my renderings. Okay, they're going to be, here's my 2510 folder, work, desk. They should be in your images folder. And here is my rendering. If I scroll down, I have other stuff inside here too, but there's my desk rendering right here. Now you see there's frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, all the way down to our very last frame, which is, keep going, 120, okay? And this took from 12:12 a.m. to 4:41 a.m. So it took about 4 hours for this thing to render, all right? So, desk rendering Sarcona, make sure if sequence is clicked. Okay, this will bring in a whole sequence. If this is unchecked, then it only brings in one file. So I'd make sure that's checked. I click on any one of these files, doesn't matter which one. Hit open. It'll ask me if I want to interpret my footage as ignore, straight, or pre-multiply. Essentially, there's an alpha channel, which I'll show in a minute, and I want to ignore it. So I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so here's my footage. So I'm just going to I'm going to left drag this into my composition window, or into my timeline, or onto this button here that says new composition. Any three of these will do the same thing. Okay. Oops, one step we forgot. Let me delete this composition up here. If I click on this, you can see where it says 30 frames per second. These were set to 24. So I'm going to right click on this, say interpret footage, main, and then just set this to 24 instead of 30. There we go. Now drag it into one of these areas, and now it works. So I can click and drag down here on the timeline, this little yellow slider, and there's my animation. If I hit the space bar, it'll actually play it. Okay, and once it goes through one time, then it'll actually play it back in real time. So we have about 5 seconds of animation here. You can see the globe spinning, you can see the clapper is moving, the pencil is rolling, the book is falling down. So I've got a few things of animation inside here. Okay, so now this is not a QuickTime yet, this is still just an After Effects file. So this is going to be going to composition, add to render queue, okay, or composition, make movie, depending on which one you're in, but add to render queue is what we need. And then this render queue will pop up. Sometimes you'll get a pop-up that'll say, where do you want to save it? Just hit save, and then we'll save it in a minute anyway. We need to click on, see this word output module, there's an arrow, and then the word lossless. So we're going to click on the word lossless. And in here, there's a format. This AVI, we're going to change to QuickTime, okay, because we're rendering a QuickTime movie. There's format options we're going to click on and change this to H.264. H.264, all these are up to the highest settings. If we had audio, we could click audio here, but we don't, so we hit OK. Output 2, we're going to click on the desk rendering name here. And this is where we're going to specify where we're going to put this. So I'm going to put this desk rendering. And I'm going to put it inside my desk folder, and there's a movies folder inside here, so I like to keep them inside that movies folder. So desk rendering underscore Sarcona underscore fall 13. Okay, so the name of the project, and that's how we're going to do it for all of them, your last name, and then the semester, fall 13. Save. So now we hit render. We hear a little chime, and it's done. Okay. So let me delete this just so you can see the process when you come into it next time. This is the quick process. We double click, click, if, okay, ignore, okay, drag this, composition, add to render queue, click the word lossless, change this to a QuickTime, change format options, make sure it's on H.264, click here, make sure it's labeled correctly, hit the render button, and it's done. That's how quick it's going to be on your future ones. Unless we do anything fancy, that's literally the After Effects portion of this. Okay, so now if I go to my desktop, go to my movie folder, and I open up my movie, here's my movie. Hit play, there it is. Okay, now you'll notice that it is a little bit washed out. There's a funky bug inside of QuickTime that does this. Here's the fix for it. Go to Window Movie Properties. It doesn't make sense to me, but it works. Click on the video track, click on Visual Settings, change the transparency to blend, and crank this up to 100. Change the transparency to straight alpha, close it, and now when we click and drag, now we have our black values back here. So we just go to File Save, and we're good. Okay, it was a little washed out, and now it's not washed out anymore. Perfect. Alright, so that's essentially how to make it into a QuickTime movie. Now, here's what that alpha channel warning message pop-up was about. If I right-click and go back to Interpret Footage Main, which I forgot to do when I redid it, I'm going to change this to pre-multiplied. And what this means is that my background is now a color. Okay, right now it's white. So if I make a new solid, sure, I'll drop this below it. So now this solid is black, and my rendering is a color, but there's transparency to it. So if I go to this black solid, and I go to the solid settings, and I pick a different color, you can see how I can change the color of that background. Okay, it's not terribly helpful in this case, but in some instances you may want to do something like that where you have a different color background. Okay, it looks odd, especially because we have black here, then all of a sudden we have this like bluey color, green-blue color. All right, but that's what that is for. Okay, so let me show the process real quick again, just so we can see it. Here's our footage. If sequence, open, ignore, okay. Interpret footage main. Make sure we set this to 24, which I forgot to do the second time. Drag this in here. Composition, add to render queue. Lossless. QuickTime. Format, H.264. Everything's up. Click on the name. Click on the name. Save. Yes. Render. Go into the movie, open it up in QuickTime. You could also right-click, open with QuickTime if you needed to. And then under Window Movie Properties, under Video Track, Visual Settings, we change transparency to blend, crank it up, change transparency to straight alpha, close, scrub a little bit, and then save. And there we go, our movie's done. Now it's ready to be turned in. Okay, so that's how it's going to be as far as the After Effects portions typically go. We may go into some other programs to play with some other stuff, but I think that's going to be as far as we want to really take it for this part of just kind of taking our sequence and exporting it into something nice. All right, so that's it.